Ladies and gents, good afternoon. Let's deal with the elephant in the room in the first instance. This is not a Virginia or an Alabama accent. From a little place called London. And thinking about today's event reminded me of a piece of travel that I went on. See, I travel all around the world. And often when I travel to a new city, my host wants to show me the best of the best of the best of what that location has to offer. Thinking about today reminded me of a time when I got invited to Birmingham, Alabama. And here, my guest wanted to show me the best of the best of the best of what Birmingham, Alabama had to offer. And ladies and gents, they took me to a baseball game. See, that is 2 hours of my life that I cannot get back. You see, nothing happened during the whole 2 hours. Everybody was more interested in talking amongst themselves, wondering what was happening on over here. Nobody was mainly interested in the main event. Did you know that the most excited that the audience got during that whole 2 hour period of time is when two people in the audience were caught kissing and they put it up on the big stage? That was as good as that event got. As I think about that event and I think about where we are right now, what I realized was that game of baseball was nothing more than a spectator sport. So you could sit back, the time would pass regardless, and whatever you chose to do in that time did not matter. Or what you could do is you could participate, you could engage. See, that's the similarity that we have here. You get the choice, right? You can spectate, you can sit back, or you can participate. And given the choice of spectating or participating, which one do you think is going to deliver the best results? So you might realize I'm a little pedantic about word choices. The exact thing you say at the specific moment in which that thing comes up. I mean, when is the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say? It's right in the moment in which you're saying it. How many of your conversations are repetitive? How many of your conversations are prescriptive? How many of your conversations have more similarities than differences? See, we have so many similarities over differences that exist in our world that what we do for most things is we build systems and processes. We have templates and documents, and then we customize as required so we don't start the same thing over again, start the same thing over again, start the same thing over again. Yet when it comes to our conversations, we think, I don't know, don't want to sound scripted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it up. Quite often, though, ladies and gents, the difference between you and people like you has nothing to do with your hard work, your skill set, your care, your attention, your love, your passion, your knowledge. Quite often, the difference between you and people like you is knowing exactly what to say, when to say it, and how to make it count. It's knowing that the right words at the right time can achieve the right kind of outcome. Let's talk about something important. Everything that I've talked about today is a question. Questions are essential for us to create more opportunities. Why? Because questions start conversations. Conversations build relationships. Relationships then lead to opportunities, and only opportunities become sales. Let me repeat that again, right? So what do we have? We have questions that create conversations. It's conversations that lead to relationships. It's relationships that become opportunities, and only opportunities that lead to sales. So if we want more sales, what do we need to do more of? Ask more questions. See, we know we have to ask more questions, but are we good at asking questions? Let's try this for a second. Let me prove just how stupid we are as a race at asking questions. Hey, how are you? How are you doing? Oh, we got an evolution. Great. How are you? I'm good. We see how this happens though, right? One of the most common questions that we ask of people is, hey, how are you? Which then gets a punctuated answer that does not progress a conversation. Or it gets a kickback that then gets a punctuated answer that ends a conversation. See, the funniest rallies when you're watching a game of tennis happen when what? It's not when somebody slams it with an ace and it lands in the other side and jumps out of the court and they go cha-ching, 15 love. I mean, I've still never got my head around that scoring system. Like most other sports, it's like 1. Here, 15. Okay, but that's another thing. Dealing with my social problems in this session. It's not therapy, Phil. It's not therapy. Okay. Where were we? Tennis. Right? That's what we were talking about. We were playing tennis, but you weren't very good at it because you were trying to serve aces. Or you're trying to win the game, aren't you, on the return shot? The fun rallies are the ones that go backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards for a while, right? Those are the fun conversations we have, where it goes to me, to you, to me, to you, to me, to you, to me, to you, where we all get a little bit of playtime. Yet what happens in nearly every set of circumstances when we ask questions of people is they hit dead ends. Hey, how are you? I'm fine, thanks. Hey, how are you? Let me prove another question that we're all so brilliant at answering. So what do? I'm a finance team leader. See, I'm now left, aren't I, with that answer that has now been punctuated at the end. Now what am I left being able to do? I now have to decide how to process that answer. I either have to lean in and ask you some more about it, but maybe what if I should know what a finance team leader is? If I ask you some more, what might I think or feel? Or sound stupid. So I might not ask you more about this because I probably should know, but I don't know. But what is the purpose of your answer? The answer is probably to be able to create more of a conversation, correct? See, I could also box it. I can go finance team leader. I know what one of those is. I've worked with the banks a number of times. I know what a finance team leader is. In fact, I worked with one at Merrill Lynch for a while, and they ran a team of traders on the floor with 35 people. They were a finance team leader, and wow, that's what you do. Is that what you do? But see, when I hear finance team leader, that's where my mind jumped. Because every finance team leader I've met in the past did that. So often what happens is, we give an answer, it doesn't help the other person. It actually hurts the other person, because I either have to box it, or I have to ignore it. See, if I'm going to ignore it, I'm going to end the conversation, because I don't want to sound stupid. See, I picked on you, and your name, lady, was Nikki. I could have picked on anybody else in the room, correct? Nikki didn't give the wrong answer. Everybody gives the wrong answer. Let's understand that to be true here. That's not Nikki for giving the wrong answer. See, a question you know you're going to be asked is, so what do? We know that as people, right? When is the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say? Is in the moment when you're saying it. So for a question we know we're going to be asked, wouldn't it make sense that we were ready to give an answer? Wouldn't that make sense? So I'm guessing that everybody else other than Nikki is ready with their so what do you do answer. Yes? Sarah, so what do you do? You're a what? A treatment coordinator. Let's just take ourselves out of the world that we live in and the one that we know to be true, and then say WTF is a treatment coordinator. Right? Does it help me? Or am I supposed to know what it means? Here's something I want you to understand will never go out of fashion. A story will always sell. A fact will only tell. That will never change as long as we have air in our lungs. A story will always sell, whereas a fact will only tell. Next time you are asked a question that is, so what do? Wouldn't it help the other person if we told them a story about the kind of thing that we did? But that could be weird. It could be a bit elongated. I say, so what do? You say, once upon a time. What success in selling is all about is maintaining the control in the conversation. Who is in control of every conversation? No, it's the person who is doing something. What is the person who's doing if they are in control of a conversation? Asking the questions. So we want to be in control of this conversation. Somebody has asked a question of us. We think, I know this one. Treatment coordinator. Bing! 15 points. See, that's what happens. But we want to remain in control of the conversation. Person in control of the conversation is asking the questions. So is it an answer to the question that we need or something different? We don't need an answer to the question, do we? We need a question to the question. Let's see how this plays out. What if this were true? Somebody says of you, so what do you do then? You say, would it make life easier for you if I gave you an example of the kind of things that we do? What do you think everybody's going to say back to that? Sure. Could you now tell me a 15-second story about what is a treatment coordinator? Okay? So now let's play that out in real person's language. I say, so what do? You come back and say, well, would it be okay or would it make life easier if I gave you an example of the kind of thing you do? And you're going to, well, I'm going to say yes. Here's what you could say back in the other direction. Is when you go to see the doctor and the doctor analyzes the things that you may or you may not need as a result of the symptoms that you've shared and the tests that they've run. I go, yeah, I know that. Well, what I do is I take all of that information and I plan it into a schedule that allows you to be able to actually get what it is that the doctor really needs, ensuring those things result in getting done, and that our patients end up with the treatment they really need. Do you think the other person might now go, I know what a treatment coordinator is? But the other thing is, that story is repeatable, rememberable. It creates opportunity. See, what might happen now when somebody says, I went to see my doctor ran a load of tests, but I got no idea what happens next. What now happens, if that story happens outside of a clinic, somebody says it sounds like you need a treatment coordinator. I said earlier that selling is earning the right to make a recommendation. What does that mean? It means you should never, ever, 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 ever invite a patient to do something unless you can say these words first. The words you should be able to say first are the words, because of the fact that you said. See, because of the fact that you said A, B, and C, for those reasons, what we recommend is X, Y, and Z. People don't argue with themselves. But if you say what I think is a good idea based on the results of, they go, I'm not so sure. Let's look at how this played out. See, I could say, because of the fact that you said this is going in your best room and you want it to last a long time and you're often entertaining, well, for those reasons, we recommend you have your fabric professionally sealed at the factory. Try to tell me it's not a good idea. Remember the fact that you said when you're entertaining you struggle for chairs. What many people do is they invest in a footstool. It can be used as an extra chair. It can also be some extra storage. And if you're ever wondering where it sits underneath your feet. Try and tell me you've not got room. See, if you take every core objection that you face in your business, I'm 100% certain there is a question you could have asked earlier in the conversation that made the objection impossible to pick. 100% certain that is true. And in almost all of my consulting work and writing of training programs work, that's what I now do. I write companies' questions to destroy the objections they face on a regular basis, to create a path of conversation that the right people see the light in the exact same time, meaning that what happens is we recommend things that are a good idea to both parties. Not try and embellish something with features and benefits and hope it might fit. See the difference? What is something you typically get asked for in terms of price? Who can give me something? An example from your world. Typical thing. How much is, say again for me, a crown? How much is a crown? Okay. And does it depend which tooth it is? Okay. So it's always $12.24. And do they fit it themselves? Is there some form of service or guarantee that goes alongside this crown? Is there an experience, a process, some steps that they need to go through, and is the process that you go through in fitting a crown different to what other providers provide? Could be, couldn't it? There are a number of variables and moving parts attached to this at this moment in time. So they're going to say, how much is a crown? What I now need to do is to help them realize the question they asked is not such a smart question. To be able to regain control of the conversation. They say, how much is the crown? I could give you a workshop breakout session now for the next 15 minutes for you to come up with a series of questions to come back to the how much is a crown question, or I could give you the answer. What would you like to do? The workshop session to chat amongst yourselves, or the answer? Okay. They say, how much is the crown? You say, which tooth are you looking for it for? We say, how many do you need? We say, how big is it? What do they now say? I don't know. That's what they are guaranteed to say back, yes? Which means we need to do what? We need to bring them in. But they've just realized the question they asked was stupid. But coming in, they're going to have a feeling inside of them. What's the feeling going to be inside of them potentially? How might they be feeling coming towards the dentist, coming towards the chiropractor, coming towards the surgeon? How do you think they might be feeling as a normal human being? I mean, ask yourself, how might you be feeling? Fearful, anxious, nervous, frustrated. All of those kind of things could be true, yes? And we're still fearful of the fact that they might be fearful, that they haven't got some form of knowledge or understanding of how much this might be. Because if you don't know whether you're in the right shop, what now happens is you think, I don't want to enter the shop, right? But they want to know, can I afford it? That's what they're really saying is, if a crown is what I need, am I in a position to move forward with you? That's what they want to know. So we've qualified here saying, what size is it? What tooth is it for? Anything like that. They say, I don't know. I might rephrase the question. It sounds to me like what you're asking is what could you be looking at paying out of pocket should crowns be the right solution for you? And they say, yeah, that's what I was looking for. Now, I'm going to say, well, in some circumstances, patients come to see us thinking it's a crown that they need. And we find out they need 3, 4, 5. Sometimes they decide on even going for a full set of veneers, replacing their entire smile, and it could be as much as $60,000. Yet in many scenarios, patients come to see us thinking it's a crown that they need, and we can take care of something for them there and then, and it can just be as simple as a few hundred. But what I do know is Dr. Insert Name is available on Thursday or Friday this week. She does a wonderful job and patients adore her. She'll go through a full analysis, find out exactly what the concerns are with you right now, and that all that's going to be your expense for that full consultation to give you the knowledge that you need to make an informed decision is insert price. Have I controlled the conversation? Have I been honest and true? What now happens if the patient turns up and the full treatment plan that we provide for them is $7,480? Fair, isn't it? See, the fact that we were brave enough to be able to talk the $60,000 number and the lowball number, we provided an honest, fair transaction here that the patient says, these aren't people scared of talking about numbers. They just laid it straight on the line. Could go as much as $60,000. Yet many patients find that they come and see us and it isn't in fact a crown that they need, it's something different that we would require, and it might be able to be taken care of for you there and then on the spot for just a few hundred. Now, is that going to work with all of the people all of the time? No. Because some are going to say, yeah, but how much is a crown? Correct? And you're going to say every patient's different. But if you're looking for an understanding, I can look at somebody who we treated last week, and for one single crown, inclusive of this, and this, that came in at $1,220. Because there are some people that need a number, right? Without a number, they ain't coming. But we're going to try one way first, and then when they say, yeah, but how much is a crown? We're going to give an example of how much somebody paid for the entire service, inclusive of crown. See the difference? So what if I could give you a set of magic words you could use to get just about anybody to agree to just about anything without even knowing what the thing is? Would that be useful to you? Set of words you can use to get somebody to agree to take an action before they even know what the action is. For this, I need a new volunteer. New volunteer. Thank you for volunteering. Your name is? Ali. Ali, could you do me a small favor? There's the words. Catch it? See, why is it the request of a small favor gets a unanimous yes in the other direction? See, what Ali has now agreed to do is anything I ask her to. Yes, anything. But not really. See, we've spent an hour and 59 minutes together. Ali's got the reasonable belief that I wouldn't ask her to do anything that would be unreasonable. So she's free to say yes, because we've had some experience of transacting together. She feels comfortable and confident that I wouldn't be unreasonable in this moment. Correct? Wouldn't the same thing be true with your patient? So it isn't asking for a small favor gets a guaranteed yes. It's asking for a small favor in a moment of gratitude being demonstrated from somebody in which you've done something for, in which there is a framework around that existing experience that means we can now ask for more. Wait till the end of the moment. Wait till you get gratitude in the other direction. They say thank you. You say you couldn't do me a small favor. They say sure. There's your window. Ask for whatever on earth you like next. Make sense? So on the moment of just one more thing, I've talked a little bit about this fun little book. And I'm wondering, does anybody want a copy? See, here's what happens, right? I ask people in life if they would want something. And what most people do is they sit and they wave a hand around. They sit there on their butt, waving their hand around, saying, pick me, pick me, pick me, assuming that their success in this action has something to do with being chosen. Success in life has nothing to do with you being chosen by other people. It's about you choosing it. Every single one of you in the room has somewhere like an equal opportunity of leaving with this book today. See, that's the other thing is what happens is some people ask for it. And asking will get you so far, but what really needs to happen in life is that the things that you would like to achieve require being taken. So ladies and gents, I've been Phil Jones. That's been my time together today with you guys. What I wish you is I wish you the ability to take some things that we've talked about today and put them into practice. I also wish you all the success in the world that you prepare to work for. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.